Now broadcasting from the Next Gen Conservative Studio in sunny South Florida, bringing you the latest in politics, current events, and pop culture. This is the Whitfield Report with Sam Whitfield.
Good evening, folks. I think Sam is currently muted. Not sure if he knows he's still muted. We will see.
We'll figure it out.
We will surely get working.
I swear we'll figure it out.
Absolutely. Sam, please tell me you realize you're still muted, right? Okay, I think he knows. Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy. Technical problems right out the gate. That's beautiful. Everything was working right before we started. I promise you, folks.
Okay, that was weird. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Sure can.
Good to go.
Okay, so the video on my end, usually the intro is set to auto cue, but for some reason it was stalling. And then I checked the YouTube live streaming feed, and it said that we were live just on our cameras. So I'm like, so please, for the love of God, Streamlabs, if I'm gonna keep paying for your StreamYard equivalent, please fix your shit. So yeah, but anyway, welcome to the show. And Elon, well, he fucking did it. The madman.
I have been
Twitter.
seeing gamer words on Twitter. It is fantastic. It fills me with hope, and I just hope the good times don't fucking end. I want to see more gamer words constantly. I want it to be filthy on Twitter. I want Birdsight to live up to the fucking calling of birds and just have shit everywhere. Good shit, bad shit, crazy shit, sane shit. I want all of it. And I want all of it just nicely nuzzled between a word that means a bundle of sticks or a racial slur for black men during some harsher times in America. Just nuzzle between those two words, the PewDiePie word and the bundle of sticks or cigarettes. Just nuzzle between there. And that's all of Twitter. I want it to be just constant, and I love it. I feel hopeful for the net for once in my life.
Yeah, it honestly makes me feel nostalgic, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because back when I first joined Twitter, way back in 2011 or whenever, that was what, I mean, you could basically say whatever on the website, and unless you were threatening people, you wouldn't get banned. But then 2015 happened and everything changed. Now, seeing things get back to normal, it's or I guess what used to be normal. God, what even is normal anymore? I can't tell. But
misery,
getting
censorship.
the old get corpo shit.
Corpo bullshit.
So.
Yes, that's exactly right. Hey kids, don't tell your parents. Go find a lighter and a leather jacket. Go burn some corpo shit in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Continue, Sam. Sorry about that. Just had to little
no, I fully endorse that. Check out this awesome band called Samurai too. So,
Portrayed by Refused, absolutely.
You do a seppuku.
Well, speaking of, I found out that Keanu Reeves can actually play guitar, which doesn't. I guess it shouldn't have surprised me, but that was, I guess, cool to find out. So good on him. If
Oh
he
yeah, no, that
actually
dude goes the mile to learn everything he needs to for his roles.
and
In the Matrix, he actually did learn kung fu for the Matrix, and then he never stopped.
yeah. Well, and listen, I know I said that John Wick is my favorite role of his. However,
Oh boy.
I admire the fact that when he did Cyberpunk, he didn't just phone it in for Cyberpunk. Like he seemed enthused as fuck to be playing Johnny Silverhand. You could just
I mean, dude, if
tell
I'm
it kind.
a fucking mini tangent, every motherfucker there are people that said he did phone it in for that game, that it was a mid performance, that he didn't fucking put his heart into it. And I think it's part of that stigma that people separate voice acting from real acting, and they can't like make that fucking connection. But just because it's a fucking video game, Keanu's not going to change how he is. He's not going to phone anything in just because of who he is. He's genuinely a very sincere man, with a lot of passion for the things he chooses to work on. Because let's be real, the man can choose what he does and doesn't want to do for work. He's at that level now where he's not hurting for money. So he's not going to do, direct to DVD action movies like a certain apparent Russian with the last name of a seagull or something like that. His performance in Cyberpunk, even on my second playthrough, I'm still impressed on how good it is. Every line he says, he is committing to the role of the engram of Johnny Silverhand. He's keeping the emotions that Johnny would have in mind at all times. And while it's just kind of a little weird sometimes to hear Keanu Reeves speak that much, it's really not that bad, all things considered.
Hey, you need to watch your mouth, okay? He'll take you to the bank, the blood bank. Okay.
I have nothing but praise for that man. Honestly, really. By the end of Cyberpunk, it really was like, this is a fantastic fucking performance because of what he can pull out of me as a player, as an entertainer of this piece of fucking media. And for an actor to do that, to on one hand speak to the audience but also still stay in a role and cause thought provocation, I think is something truly fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I think also, I mean, yeah, part of it is voice acting, but they also did motion capture for him too. So I mean,
I don't know if he did his own motion capture, to be fair.
I mean, he might not have done all of it, but I know he did some of it because in one of the BTS videos for Cyberpunk, they did like show him in like one of those dot suits or whatever they
maybe he did
for motion capture.
Yeah, maybe he did, because I'm thinking back to it was a rumor, I think, posting on 4chan where they're talking about what the fuck happened with Cyberpunk, and they basically said along the lines of, everything with our original story completely changed the second that Keanu Reeves got hired as Johnny, because Johnny was going to be what Morgan Blackhand is now for the story. He was going to be a mystery, and it's like, did Johnny survive the Fourth Corporate War, Arasaka Holocaust bombing, right? He was, and even the original concepts were very different if he was going to play a part, but they said that once he came in, and he's a fantastic dude, like a lot of the devs met him when he came in for his mocaps, but
yeah,
his presence and him being a celebrity caused that story to change. So if I do remember based off of that, then yeah, he did do his own mocap, which isn't too rough because none of the mocap for him is that crazy. It's a far cry from anything he would have done in John Wick.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, worst he might have had to do was do a motion capture of him smoking a cigarette,
Yeah.
which which is, someone pointed out that that's one of the funny things about that game is, you know, in the future it's 2077 and everyone's vaping and whatnot, and here's, you know, Ghost Johnny Silverhand. You don't even know where he's getting cigarettes from, but he, you know, you just see him lighting up against a wall. Or
oh no, regular cigarettes are still a real thing. You actually you come across somebody's case of cigarettes, you smoke a couple of them with another character. Real cigarettes, despite all the vaping, is some shit still prefers to be real and organic in the world of cyberpunk where everything is synthetic.
Interesting. So that must be part of the film noir thing, then, I guess.
Oh yeah,
you know,
it's absolutely an aesthetical
whole
choice.
Yeah. So anyway, though, you know, we love Keanu, but we're here to talk about the other hero of, you know, modern day culture, and that is Elon Musk. Holy shit! I don't want to say I lost faith, but for a while there, it was looking like it wasn't looking like the deal was going to go through there. So
yeah, I was kind of wondering
I'm
how
with,
that was going to turn out.
I'm with you, Akaba. I'm all for the gamer words. You know, on Twitter now. What I'm real curious to see is like, because supposedly from what I've heard, Elon is going to, or Twitter is going to reinstate like a lot of the banned accounts. I'm curious to see who's going to be, you know, coming back.
Everybody,
and who isn't.
All of them. Play the fucking cue the Avengers theme. Everybody's coming back. Everybody's coming back. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's
interesting. Bring back Trump. Bring back Trump.
Well, yeah, Trump was saying he's staying on truth. We'll see about that one. I definitely. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if like Alex Jones comes back.
Oh yeah.
What that's going to be like now that the lawsuit is happening and they're trying to get him for like a
ridiculous amount of money.
The fucking GDP of a fucking small country. Like, what? Jesus.
A fucking Somalian shit.
Yeah, just like exactly. Fucking a third of it. Yeah. The GDP of like a third of Africa. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's absolutely fucking insane.
But it'll be interesting. I mean, like if I mean I think they know that he's probably filing bankruptcy anyway, so it's not like it's whatever, I guess.
Well, let's be honest. It was never about the money with Alex Jones. It was all about sending a It was all about sending a message.
Yeah, and of course Alex Jones has a plan too. Of course he has a plan.
That man is very smart.
Yes. He is a very intelligent man. And my guess is he'll probably just change the name and set up something else and bring that up too. Like, but I mean, look, I got to be honest. Times were good when Alex Jones was on Twitter. Like, you know, you had DeMilo, you had Alex Jones, you had all these guys, and it was like, and even if they said something crazy, it was there. You know, and we needed that back because like. Well, okay. Let me just cut that one off by saying, okay, Elon Musk has said that he is going to have like a board of like content moderation board meeting or something like that, which does give me a little bit of pause. Because that's kind of the same shit that Jack Dorsey said before Twitter went fucking crazy. So I'm very curious to see. Although that is a different situation because like Jack Dorsey, I think he only owned like maybe 1% of the company versus Elon. He basically owns all the company, and you know, he could just, if he doesn't like something, he could just basically tell him to kiss his ass. And not only that, he has the money to, like,
he has the money to make the impossible possible.
Yeah.
People, mark my fucking words. We're getting an edit button.
Well,
we're getting a fucking edit button.
Well, we were we were wondering why all the legal stuff was happening with like the lawsuit and all that stuff, and then I think we started seeing that he's taking Twitter and trying to use it for like another app, I think X.com or something like that, or like because he still owns the patent to like X app, which he's trying to make into like a bigger, broader experience or something like for whatever. I'm just happy that he owns it now, and that all those like Vijaya and Parag, the CEO, they're gone, and he's booting all these freaking engineers, and he brought in engineers too. Like he's brought in a couple of his engineers to go over the code to see what's in the code.
Some bullshit. Some fucking hot ass bullshit.
It's interesting. That's an interesting one because, like, I mean, one would have assumed that that the people at Twitter deleted all the dirty shit before they left, but
the worst of the worst, probably, yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure, because I mean, those Tesla engineers were pretty damn smart. Like if he brought in some of those engineers that are from like Tesla or SpaceX or something like that, like I'm sure there's ways he could probably dig up whatever was deleted or whatever. It'd be interesting to see if he can do that, what was actually in it, and like.
Well, I think there's some stuff that he wouldn't even talk about, because I'm pretty sure that the Twitter people, just like anybody in high social elite status, was probably into some sick fuck shit, and that probably. While transparency is good, I don't know if the admittance I think is perfect. Because I've seen people get banned for saying all kinds of gamer words on Twitter, but I've seen straight accounts up that post shit tons of lolicon and all that kind of fucking nasty shit.
I think if he dumps it all at the same time, it'd be a great thing, because...
Oh, yeah, no, I'm all for it. I think, but that particular thing, like... depending on how many of those former Twitter engineers or board members allowed or made exceptions for that kind of sick shit, I think that one probably would be one he wouldn't want to put out there immediately or even at all, considering there's still a future for the platform. But yeah, regardless, I'd say fuck it, all of it. But
and I mean, I think the other thing too is, look, Twitter is roughly like 15 years old as a platform, and I mean,
fuck.
If it works, don't fix it, right? But also, like, if Elon's like trying to integrate into something else, like I'm just at this point, like as a tech guy, like I'm curious to see what that would be. Just
also, let me correct you, Sammy. No, Twitter is like fucking 17 years old, almost 18. I remember them talking about Twitter on Attack of the Show on G4 back in 2004 or 5.
Yeah, same here. I remember going on Twitter like for the first time, and all you could do was like say like I'm eating food at like you didn't even have like 140 characters or whatever it was. It was literally like
it was microblogging. Like, it was literal microblogging.
Yeah, and that's all it was. And now it's like the information super highway. I mean, I think more. I know people who go to Twitter for information as opposed to Google. I'm not saying they should, but I know people that do.
Well, I think Musk himself has described it as the digital town square, which I think is a little crazy when you're calling something that is if you were to measure Twitter in real space, the amount of talking people and that, it's more like a town city that's just really open.
Yeah,
it's far from a square. It's so fucking vast, but he does like to call it the digital common space of the current age.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think he meant it more in like, the town square is where people used to gather, to discuss like current events and whatnot.
Talk some bullshit, scam people. Yeah, all the usual. Sell snake oil.
Now and now it's it's on a global scale, so he's not wrong about that. And speaking of the sex bots in the chat, you can go fuck yourselves. I just banned
but
you guys.
Sammy, hot girls are waiting.
They're in your area.
Yeah.
They want to fuck.
Oh yeah. yeah. Oh,
they're looking for dick tonight.
You gotta give that porn site a naked chariot ride.
Oh my god! Can I just say there is a slight joy in me that porn ads and their advertisement, like their catchphrases, have never changed. Ever since fucking the advent in 2002 and shit. Still, hot girls are waiting in your area. Still the same fucking shit. I love it.
They're not only that, there's still the same photos from 2002 as well. Like, they're the same potato quality. You would think that some of these webcam models would be able to afford like hell, even the most standard iPhone now takes pretty decent video, but that they can't even do that.
Well, no, I mean, a lot of these like cams are from like third world countries and shit. Like you got like Eastern European, like I show my breast for you for a potato meal. Like no,
and shit, yeah. Sorry, Venezuela. Just call it all Brazil and be done with it. Yeah, no, a lot of them are using pretty old tech.
Yeah,
there's a lot where it's like there ain't shit to do in their fucking country, so just do the shit online.
Yeah, it'll. What I'm curious about too is like I'm not even like thinking of the people who are banned on Twitter, but like I'm also thinking like. Like Phil, I don't know if you're aware of this, but like I get notifications for all your tweets because I cannot see them unless I'm subbed, because I've got news for you, Bucko. You're shadow banned.
Oh yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I am too.
I guaranteed I was so I knew it. I've known that for a long time. If I didn't have the friends that I did, my tweets would get nothing, like nothing. And I know my tweets are funny. Okay, I know it because I get DMs all the time that are like, "Yo, your fucking tweets are hilarious." And I get a lot of them that were like, "Oh, I can't like your tweets because out of fear of association or whatever." I'm like, "Oh, who cares? It's a fucking tweet." But they think like because if they like my tweet, then it's like they're associated with me and my fucked up views or whatever, and that's going to affect them from getting a job or something. I don't know.
Which is a really weird. I mean, they're not entirely wrong, but it's weird how. I mean, let me say this: they're not wrong as far as like I guess. In today's corpo society, burn corpo shit. That's our new motto here in Minecraft. Yeah. I mean, I guess some of that shit matters, but like for the most part, who cares about your tweets? Like,
yeah, no, I've been forced to take down a lot of tweets. So Elon Musk buying Twitter is kind of great for me because it allows people to really see my tweet. I'm hoping it's allowing more people to see my tweets. And like, because like I got a couple weeks ago, I got nixed for saying for making fun of the Lincoln Project, and it was like he wasn't a minor, he was a midget, like, and immediately, and it was like I didn't even say anything that was like perverted or anything like that. It was like. And it was like the algorithm probably already knew that it was like something. It was like a pedophile joke, and then like
I got dinged a few weeks ago because I quoted someone like saying a racial epithet. It wasn't me saying it; it was me quoting it like from an article, and yet I still got dinged because, the N word. Oh no, can't say it. So
yeah, you did the whole like, look, all I did was quote from 4chan. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? And I quote, I still have the N word in my family tree, and they're still hanging. Okay, end quote.
I just want to call fucking Ego Raptor, aka Aaron Hansen, a faggot. That's all I want to do. There's just a couple people I want to call a faggot. I'm fairly simple.
I just want Milo back for no other reason than, there's plenty of shit I disagree with Milo on, but the one thing I want him back for is just to make all the feminists themselves to death.
They're already doing that. We don't need a homosexual Fed anymore to do that.
I mean, not only that, it's just like the left can't meme. I need memes.
Of course, but you're still allowing everyone else to meme. It's fine. It's not 2014. You don't have to be. I don't want them about banned. Sucking black dick to be able to piss off the left.
Yeah, I don't want them banned. I want everything, and I want to see them embarrassed. Like
I want them literally in tears, shaking. Yes,
these people are nuts, and we have to point out their nuttiness.
Start the bullying early and often.
Well, yeah, like I want to be able to get a rise out of them just by quote tweeting them and being like, why did you quote tweet? Why did you quote tweet me? Well, because you're saying this shit. So, I just figured I would expose your nuttiness to other people. So,
I literally just want to call people faggots. I have the easiest bar of threshold to be pleased on Twitter. Y'all want all this bombastic, like, taking the fight. I just want to call somebody a faggot, man. I just want to go back to the old days.
I was reading something that, like, that over the last couple days, the N-word has appeared over 500%. Like, and people were like, see? Look, these racists are out in the open. I'm like, look, okay, first off, I want to see who says the N-word, because one, I know who these people are, and two, I know who to stay away from, and three, just because you're associated with somebody like that doesn't mean you deserve to be taken off the platform. So, yeah, I don't see I don't see the problem in that at all. So,
not 90% of them are all shit posters.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm like, and I'm not even like, even if it was like, even if there was people that were just saying, oh, these N-words can go to hell or whatever, like I want to see who they are, so then I can like stay away from them, or maybe I can like block them, or maybe like whatever.
You can tell them, yeah, brother, fight the good fight.
Yeah, or whatever. Like, I'm just like, but I'd rather see it and then react on my own than some big fucking corpo doing it for me. I don't need them to do that shit
Here's the
for me.
thing. There's a fucking goddamn comic for Captain America where somebody's like, Cap, how are you going to let this guy talk this anti-Jewish bullshit? And he's like, everybody should be allowed to say what they want in fucking America. It's up to the person to determine what's right and what's wrong of what's being said out in public. Like, let people sort themselves out. If you're worried that people are going to start saying fuck N-words, fuck Jews, fuck whatever, and people are going to start to rally against them and hate, maybe we have to have a bigger conversation about how we are as humans rather than just people saying the fucking words. Maybe there's a bigger seated issue that some people just don't want to fucking talk about, you know? Well, and not to say it's one way or the other, but you can't even know.
We have to have that conversation regardless. I mean, you know, take that Penn State thing, for instance. Like, you know, there were so many protesters and like there were like high schoolers and shit too. Yeah. Like like these are young people that are acting weird and like crazy.
And they always are. And what have we seen also come with this new era of youth? The highest rates of autism and spectrum disorders ever. I'm telling you, there's some microplastics in the fucking water, but I'm not allowed to say that or I sound crazy. Oh, fuck.
Well, so Phil, you kind of brought it up in a nice segue. So the Penn State protest, were you there? Because I mean, I covered that a little bit in a video on Tuesday
I was at the
night.
event. I was at the event. Our buddy Sean, he runs Uncensored America, and so I help him out every now and again. Whenever they have one of these events, so I decided to go up there. I haven't been up there in a while. Decided to go up there, and so we're setting up everything. And there is just right out of the gate, there's so many protesters. And it was like, they got there, like the speakers got there, and Alex Stein decides he's going to go out there and like engage these fucking protesters. So I'm like, all right, well, okay. And then he comes back because I'm inside. I'm still like kind of helping him set up and doing all that stuff. So he comes back in. He's like wiping his head, and he's like kind of like trying to clean clean his jacket or whatever. Cause you saw like some of you saw the video of him getting a loogie hocked at him. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, is it that bad? And he's like, yeah, there's a lot of people. And then the crowd kept growing, and then it kept they started going to all the other exits of the buildings and stuff. And yeah, they canceled the fucking event. It's like, it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. The crazy thing was there was like over 5 police jurisdictions at this fucking event. There was a shit ton of cops. They damn near surrounded the whole fucking building. There was armored vehicles. There was cops on horses. There was like all crazy. I'm just crazy shit there. The amount of police resources that were there, they should have been more than capable of handling this situation. So for me, part of me is like, what's up?
And was Sean aware of this, like beforehand, or what? Did this all like, because kind of the feeling I get was that things kind of spiraled out of control at the last minute, but that's just kind of
well, they did.
I mean,
they did. But there was also, I mean, it was almost a multitude of issues that kind of came out at the same time. One, they came out like they grew in population like with a quickness. And I think
Uh-huh.
and I think once I feel like once Alex Stein got out there and he started he started engaging with the protesters, I think that that's when the crowd started growing. You know, I think I think those nut jobs out there were starting to call their friends and everybody they possibly could, like, oh, you need to get out of here there. And then and there were Proud Boys, but there were Proud Boys that were out there. But according to Gavin McInnes, none of them none of them started anything. Like none of them started any fights or anything like that. A lot of it is like some of them were just trying to get in the building and they were getting attacked, and then they were kind of they were kind of defending themselves, but they were still like a couple of them were taking repeated punches, and it's not. I mean, it's not like the Proud Boys to just sit there and take it, I guess. But they didn't. They were. He was saying that that the Proud Boys did not have bear mace. Like there was. They said that there was bear mace in the at the protests or whatever. He was saying that there was no bear mace from the Proud Boys. But Black Bloc and Antifa were both at this protest, and they definitely had pepper spray. At least had pepper
Oh
spray.
yeah,
So yeah,
I'm not surprised to hear any of that,
but
at the very least.
but yeah. So things got crazy, and then they decided that they were going to the police. I don't know if it was the police or like the yeah Penn State decided that they were going to cancel the event, and then it was like, and the crowd still hung out, like they were still surrounding the building, surrounding the exit, trying to surround the exits, and like all of us had to get escorted by police out, like covertly, like just to be able to get back to our vehicles, in the parking lots or whatever. So
Wow, including you?
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, because I was helping out with it. I was volunteering. I was helping out with the event.
Right,
So
right,
yeah.
right, right. But what I'm saying is even the volunteers had to get
Oh yeah. Oh
this.
yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Um. Well, shit. What do you think? So, what was kind of the aftermath? And if you can't speak on some of this shit,
Um.
feel free
Well,
to
there's
let me know.
still
But
not a
like,
lot. Like I mean, so it looks like Alex Stein is suing the school, and rightfully so, because I mean, with like Penn State can't say that they were overwhelmed. Like they were. This is a multi-billion-dollar institution. They had the money and the resources, and they were all at their disposal. Like they could have made, and they could have changed venues. They could have changed, like they could have enforced more. Like they could have enforced on the protesters a little bit more. They could have. There's a lot of things they could have done differently, and they really it's almost like they chose not to do it. And like since Penn State's a public university, you cannot censor speakers. And like when you call it off, like that's censorship, right? So so there's going to be suits there. I think FIRE, the Foundation of Individual Rights and Expression, I think we're looking into. They were looking into what their options were as well. Um, there's a lot. There's a lot that Uncensored America. They're evaluating the situation too. And there's a lot. I think a lot of this is going to depend on what they. I think it's like what the school plans on doing, because like it feels like they're not. I don't know yet, but like this. I'm sure. I'm almost positive that they might try to pull some stupid shit, because this cost them a lot of money, right? This whole thing cost them money and like security fees and all that shit. Like it's. I don't know if this is a headache that they really want to try to tackle, but really they're a public university, so they really don't have a choice in that regard. And the school said, the student activity fee board or whatever, they said they were looking at seeing what they could do to make the situation better. Which I'm like, yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to try to railroad uncensored America too. I hope not, because I mean, it's not the thing is, like uncensored, like when you look at any of the articles about the event, they say, oh, this is far right, and the SPLC did like a hit piece on Sean, they it was
Yeah, I
bad.
saw that.
Yeah. And I'm like, look, first off, like, yeah, look, Sean will tell you he leans conservative in a lot of views, and he does. He has a few that he has, but he has liberal views too. Like look, um, like free speech is, first off, free speech is not a far right thing, right? That's not a far right
No.
issue.
Well, it has weirdly become one, because that's where we're fucking at in society. But
yeah, I mean, and this is an Uncensored America is a nonpartisan free speech organization. It's not political. It's not, it doesn't have like, it doesn't lean one way or the next. It's like, it's a nonpartisan free speech organization, which is like, again, so they're not fascists, right? This organization is not a fascist organization because, again, free speech is not fascist. It's not fascist. In fact, censorship is the backbone of fascism. Like, if you really look at it, right? Because like in order to acquire power through fascism, you got to be able to control the narrative. Can't control the narrative without censorship, right? So
yeah, well,
yeah. So what were you saying?
yeah, I was just saying, I remember you and I were both debating that one idiot journalist, quote unquote, who was saying that Gavin McInnes is a fascist, therefore it's okay to ban him.
And to his
I think
credit, right? And I don't know. Like, I honestly say I haven't done my homework on the Proud Boys and like whatever. But according to Gavin McInnes, he founded it like it was supposed to be like this drinking club or whatever.
Yeah, from my understanding, because I mean, I know you subscribe to Compound Media,
right,
but like
right.
I subscribed to Compound Media back in the day when Gavin was on there, and he started the Proud Boys. He started it because he saw like an SNL skit like on air, and he was like, and it was like a skit making fun of all of these like gangs with like it was a skit that was making fun of like really masculine gangs with like really sissy names or something like that. So as a joke, he's like, hey, we should make one, and called the Proud Boys, because it doesn't sound that macho, but yet, we're going to get the most macho guy. So it started out as like a joke, entirely. And then it became it became this whole, thing.
I also
So
hate how the media portrayed it as like a comedy, like as a comedy event. Now, both Alex Stein and Gavin McInnes are kind of comedians in a sense, but it's not really like a comedy event. I mean, there was obviously going to be comedy, but like it it's a free speech event. Like it's a speech and debate event, which like most of these events they do their spiel, and then after that there's a Q&A, and there's like opportunity for debate, right? You can debate, like students that come here or guests or whatever, they can come here and they can debate. If they disagree with the speakers, they can debate with them, right? And and to Gavin's credit, he agreed to it, right? He agreed to be in front of the freaking stage and allow people to debate him. Like, which I look, gotta give credit where credit's due. And
Ethan Ralph wouldn't do that.
right, there's a lot of leftists that won't do that. Like, and so um whenever I hear somebody say like fascists, like, okay, fascists are welcome. You had the president of the college Democrats at the school that helped organize the protests, that basically said, "Oh, fascists aren't welcome here," and I was saying, like, you're okay. You want fascists gone? Great. When the fuck are you packing up and leaving? Right? Because you you and your buddy you and your buddies, protest buddies, uh basically used threats, intimidation, and sometimes violence to shut down a event by a free speech organization, a nonpartisan free speech organization. Who really are the fascists in this equation? Like, yeah, it's we need that, and not only that, I don't know. There's a little bit of concern, like, well, what the hell? What the hell have we become as a people? And then like there was high schoolers there too. Like that was like, I mean, the one that spit on Alex Stein, I think she's a high schooler. So like, which which
yeah,
which I think part of that is probably strategic, because like if they get in trouble, it's going to be a slap on the wrist. Whereas if a grown adult freaking hawks a loogie at somebody, that's like assault, and you could end up
right.
deep into shit. But
Well,
like,
well, yeah, and then one thing, and obviously I know that you can answer this, but one thing that like always comes to mind is how much of this protest is like organic, and then how much of it is just like hired astroturf. Because
I think it's a little
like
both. I think it's a little both. I think there's, like, it's like, I think with a lot of these, there's paid people that are operating these protests, and then there's dummies that fucking go along with it. Like,
oh yeah, oh
yeah.
yeah, for sure. Um,
Some
it's just
say,
it's
look, there's some
weird.
that say January 6th. There's some say that January 6th was kind of like that, where you had paid actors that were going along with it, and then it was like you had a bunch of dummies on the outside. They're like, you know what, that guy is right. Let's storm the Capitol. Like, I mean, you know, that's possible. It's a theory, okay? I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying that that's what could have happened. So don't fucking demonetize
Yeah,
this
it's
video, Susan Wojcicki.
we're we're never gonna get monetized anyway, unless Elon buys YouTube, which who
He'd have to buy
knows.
all of Alphabet too,
Um,
because I don't think they're gonna let go of YouTube.
yeah, probably
Although
not.
I was,
Who knows
although
though?
I heard this site doesn't make very much money though. Like it makes, like it doesn't make a profit. Like they're not exactly pulling in a profit with this thing. So
Yeah, no, yeah, no. The like even if I even if I were to get monetized, I think like the starting base for me to get monetized, I would be making peanuts. So yeah, no, I mean, I think, I mean, one of the other things I wanted to ask you, I know you and I both know like Sean. I mean, you've known him a bit longer than I have, but it's weird for me. It's kind of almost funny for me to see him like labeled as a fascist because or whatever they're trying to label him as now. Because like Sean, listen, I make fun of the kid regularly because this is the kid who doesn't drink Bud, who won't even drink Budweiser because he thinks that one sip is going to make him like an alcoholic or something. This is the guy who drinks, milk on a regular basis. He's not. He's anything but a neo-Nazi, basically.
Yeah. No, I mean he is 100% a free speech absolutist. I believe that with all of my being. I believe that he is an absolute free speech absolutist. And like, and the part he's like, you can't really, I don't know if you can really, the thing with him is like, I don't think you can really call yourself a conservative or a liberal when you're a free speech absolutist. Because what we have now in our current political atmosphere, both sides love free speech until it goes against their narrative, right? You have both sides, and he got both sides. So it's like, and he like Sean wants, like he always he wants to try to bring free speech at every angle. He's not trying to like just play at one side. He's like, look, if anybody who wants to debate, anybody who wants to bring, a controversial topic, and like, look, and they're really like, well, maybe he shouldn't have brought a controversial person like Gavin, but we wouldn't be having this conversation if he didn't, right? That's the whole point. And that's the whole point, is to have this conversation, right? It's like if you just brought some half fuck professor from some no-name college or even from Penn State, like nobody would be giving a shit about this fucking event. But you bring somebody like Gavin McInnes, now all of a sudden people are paying attention. It's like, oh, okay. And all it takes is that one spark, right? To start something, right? And that's what this whole thing is about. And it's like it's a stroke of genius, because in its own way, because like you could tell that nobody like through people not wanting this guy to be on this campus validates the purpose of his existence, right? By like,
oh yeah,
a free speech organization bringing somebody that people don't want at the campus validates why they're there in the first place, right? It's fantastic. It's great that Sean's doing it, and like I will help him out in any way that I can, because I mean I believe I'm a free speech absolutist too. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, I like debate, and I like debate with like, controversial topics, because in our country's history, every freedom and everything we've had began with something that somebody deemed controversial, right? So
yeah,
you had gays that you had members of the LGBT community that were protesting this event, and I'm like, you realize without free speech you wouldn't have the rights you do, right? I'm just saying, right? You remember that Harvey Milk guy, right? He was like much of what he was saying was deemed controversial. Now it's fucking mainstream, whether we agree with it or not. His existence and what he said and what happened to him was in part why a lot of the LGBT community stuff is now mainstream. So it's like, it baffles me to see them go, oh, this fascist shouldn't be on this fucking campus. Like, no, it's you're missing the plot, which, you know, a lot of LGBT activists freaking died, you know, and got the shit beaten out of them and gotten jailed and got all kinds of shit to be able to have have the same constitutional rights that you have right now that you take for granted. So like, it's just a whole it's crazy how, and it's also crazy how zombified our public is. Like, they just go along with whatever the fucking mainstream media tells them. Like, oh, this is evil, this is aberrant, this is whatever. And I'm like, and even the school was like, oh, the views, we find these views to be aberrant and all that, and
well, none of them even really know what the
exactly,
views of Gavin
exactly,
and Alex Stein
like,
are.
how the fuck do you know when you haven't even met the guy? You haven't even met the guy. You could have met him, right? The president, they could have fucking met him. They could have engaged. They could have attended. They could have debated. They could have done all of those things. They chose not to. And it's like, you're committing to the same fucking fucked up behavior that those high school protesters were engaged in. Like, it's this hive mind that we're trying to break. Like, that's the whole idea of having a free speech thing. We're trying to break the hive mind and have people be individuals again, right? Let people think for themselves.
The only way people know how to express themselves as individuals is through corporation and identities that are made by corporations. Burn it all to the ground. That's what I say. Please continue.
It's insane. Yeah. It's insanity.
Yeah,
it's
insanity.
But that's the thing, though, too. People don't want to be individuals. They want to be part of groups. They want to be part of teams. They want a place for belonging. And that's how every one of these idiots gets wrapped and sucked up into this fucking weird cultish set of behaviors that's either swayed by changing political views or changing ethics and humanity and things like that.
Yeah, it's like, well, they're like, oh, what's the Proud Boys is the cold and all this stuff. And maybe, look, hey, maybe they are. I don't know. Okay. I don't know if they're cold or not. But I know what I saw outside of the school that day is definitely a fucking cult. Like, that is like, definitely, like, if you're like, and the stuff that they were screaming at these speakers, right? The stuff that they were screaming at Alex Stein, like, they were telling him, I hope you die. Some of them were telling him they should kill himself. Like, some of these, like, really fucked up shit. Like that's a cult. Like, dude, do you think that way? And for you to assemble with other people to think that's a fucking cult.
Yeah, well, it's like I had a few former college classmates who were real radical, who were like, oh, you're associated with that Sean Semengo guy, isn't he the one who runs that far right that far right speech organization? And it's like that's an oxymoron,
though. Like, it's a far right free speech organization that doesn't connect, right? That's like, because you can't be far right and pro free speech. It's not those are incompatible, right?
I think being far anything and being pro free speech is counterproductive to a far leaning political party's
that's
agenda.
Insanity.
And yet that's the world we live in now with the SPL, with the SPLC, because I guess this chick like read the article on or like read the report on the SPLC, which, by the way, I couldn't read what that was because they kept wanting me to donate to them, and I was like, "Fuck that shit."
But
I'm not.
it's an industry. Like
But
the SPLC has made hate an industry, right? Because if there was no
yeah,
hate, like if there's no hate and there's like that there's no need for an SPLC. Like they're fucking useless. Well, they're useless now, but there's no need for them, right? So they got to create and reach and like manufacture this hate that doesn't even exist. That like it's just like I don't know the it's like you got KKK. It's like, oh yeah, as soon as you they're like, oh, we need to get rid of the KKK. I'm like, oh well, as soon as you find those 20 fucking people, I'll agree with you. Like I haven't seen, I still have yet, and I'm old, right? I still have yet to meet a fucking KKK member. Okay.
Yeah, I've lived a good portion of my life in the Deep South, and I've never met a Klan member.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, I've lived here in Florida for the past 10 years, and I've never met a Klan member. And I mean that's the other thing is in different sections of the country there is different types of humor. But I'll tell you what, the vast majority of N-word jokes that I hear are told by other Black people. Like 98% of them are made by other Black people. It's both funny and weird.
Yeah, we just need to get back to the point where we're just
We don't
joking
take shit
and we
seriously.
don't. Yeah, like nothing. Like stuff shouldn't be taken. Like jokes should not. Again, jokes should not be taken seriously, right? It's like, oh, somebody says a joke, you need to take it as a joke, or you could do the you could do the Black Pill Phil thing where if it's funny, it doesn't matter how fucked up the joke is. If it's funny, you get a pass. If it's not funny, you get every bad thing you fucking deserve, right?
But what you're forgetting is the boner that people get from being offended.
Oh yeah, I mean,
They love to be offended, even if they know it's a joke. They might even think it's funny, but good God Almighty, they got to be offended because they got to be have attention on them and seem like they're hip to it or some other fucking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing that is also that's also one thing that is going to be interesting about this whole Twitter thing is whether or not like these protesters keep organizing shit and whatnot, because like I feel like a lot of this shit gets like organized and astroturfed like on Twitter basically. Because they're wanting to like spread narratives about XYZ person being like a racist or a bigot or whatever the catchphrase of the day is. So
well, this Whiskey Runner 1 really is he doesn't like me very much.
Whiskey's troll. That's what he's doing. I can see him right now. He's in his office somewhere. He's with the giant. He's got like a giant tumbler of Jack Daniels, probably smoking a cigarette. He probably has his black lab or whatever at his feet right now, and he's just trolling you.
No, he seems like an all right guy. He seems like an all right guy. I'm actually flattered. I'm actually flattered that I get so much attention.
You're actually older than him by like a year, I think.
Probably. I don't.
So there's that too. But nice to see you back, Whiskey. So welcome back. But Yeah, no, I think this shit with Penn State is why I'm glad that Elon is taking over Twitter, because with all of these activists, like the vast majority of them that I know of tend to like post shit on Twitter, and then that's how the disinformation about XYZ person being a racist or an ist gets that's how it gets spread. So,
hey, Whiskey, what kind of 9?
It's a pit bull. My bad, sir. If it
sounds like good
9,
people.
I'm gonna
look if he's got Jack Daniels, Pitbull at his feet, and 9. That's living the good life. Let's see here.
The pit bull. The pit bull is probably the most cuddliest thing ever. So I had a pit bull today try and slobber all over me. Didn't try and attack me or anything. It just tried to slobber me, and
Well, of course, you're not a baby.
Dreams.
It doesn't care to eat you, Sam. Just because you can't walk doesn't mean it can't tell that it doesn't know that you're not a baby. Come on now.
All right, he's got an M&P. They're very, very reliable, very, very trustworthy.
I'll stick with my CZ.
Yeah. His name is Nino. Yeah. One of my best friends who I was stationed with, he has a pit bull, and yeah, he's one of the nicest things. Like like you would think, like some of these pit bulls are, you would think like rough or whatever, and it's like they're the most gentle fucking thing out there.
Unless they're near a baby, and then they eat it.
Yeah. well, as long as you don't have any babies, you don't have any problems.
Well, I'm just saying. Okay, pit bulls are known for one thing and one thing only. They're eating, and if your pit bull did not eat your child, maybe you have one of the good ones. But I'm just saying, 75% of dog crimes and child eatings are committed by 80% pit bulls. The statistics don't lie, people.
They are very pretty. Like I have a German Shepherd, and like they're very like. Pit bulls and German Shepherds are very intelligent, and they're very protective. And I've always liked pit bulls.
So are bull mastiffs, but those things are huge. Oh, so are Great Danes. I had a Great Dane try and get up in my lap, and I swear to God that Great Dane's paws when I was like took me out. But yeah. So yeah, hopefully we'll get Sean on here at some point to actually talk about what went down with Penn State. I think he will
eventually. He's got a lot. He's got a lot going on right now.
I'm sure if he's probably getting.
It's pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting thing that like, that it got as much headwind as it did. Like, and it's amazing because like almost every news outlet ran with it.
That's what I'm surprised by. Like, oh shit, I'm seeing Sean's name in the New York Times.
Yeah.
Now
he was on the Daily Mail
every day.
He was on the Daily Mail. Like, the Daily Mail happened, and his fucking picture was on the like, it was like incredible. I was like, oh my God, I'm seeing him in a new light, man. It's like, it's fucking incredible. I mean, of course, I'm sure he probably would have rather not have had picture in that fucking light, but like it's just like it's incredible. Like I'm not like I'm amazed. I'm I'm low key proud of him because he's like he's taking this thing on. Like he's taking all of this on and
Oh yeah.
still pretty fantastic.
If a certain news show were still around, I would say that he might make a worst person of the year list, but unfortunately Keith Olbermann isn't around anymore. I don't think.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, well, Keith Olbermann, that fucking nut job. I don't know. Every time I see him, I'm like, he looks a little bit more worse for wear. It's just like, God, he just starts looking more and more beat up. I don't know. Keith's in his mom's basement. Yeah, fucking.
he
I don't know.
well,
he's
great.
he's got to be on some kind of psych meds. Like there's no, I hear him talk and I see the glaze in his eyes. I'm like, there's no fucking way he's not on any kind of psych meds or anything like that. Like,
Yeah, well, he can probably afford all a lot of these rich guys, they're like on all the drugs probably,
well,
both legal and illegal. So,
yeah, probably.
Last time I saw a video from him, he was like playing the grand piano in his New York apartment, screaming at Joe Rogan, which is it was interesting.
yeah.
Not so much even the fact that he was screaming about Joe Rogan, but that he was also like playing the piano terribly.
Shit.
But,
Yeah, these people need help. Just like they should they should reopen some of these state-run psych facilities and throw them all in there. Inject them with psych meds or whatever. Just kind of dope them up, whatever.
Well, but then that's the flip side. Then Twitter wouldn't be as interesting.
That is true. That is true.
So, it all ties back.
I can't.
So
I need material so I can make my jokes. Like it's hard. I can make jokes out of thin air, but like I don't know. It's
yeah, no, Phil can do a flip kick. He just isn't gonna do a flip kick on me. So
yeah, I wouldn't. I'm too old and broken to be doing flip kicks anymore. That's the possibility of that shit happening now has just dwindled. It's almost nothing.
He would bang his shin on my wheelchair trying to flip kick me. Most likely. So, but yeah, no, I can't wait to get Sean here so we can, so I can get the lowdown on what's going on. So, with Uncensored America. So,
dude. So what else? What else has fucking happened this week?
Well, Akaba, anything in gaming news? Anything
Absolutely.
in gaming news?
Absolutely. So, as we discussed earlier on CD Projekt Red's various projects, one of which for the Witcher series being Canis Major, that project has been announced, and it is a remake on Unreal Engine 5 of the original game, The Witcher. I'm not at all surprised because The Witcher 1 is both a fantastic game and both the jankiest piece of Eurojank that you might have played this side of the Eastern Bloc. Not much to say other than that'll be interesting. They're going with developer fool's theory in order to do that. So they will not be necessarily developing themselves, but they will be looking over the project. Creative supervision, all that kind of thing. So, yeah, okay, sure. Let's see what happens. Witcher 1 was a really good game, and it was a really weird RPG. But it is so much of the good stuff is locked behind weirdness and jank that most people don't even bother. They'll just watch a playthrough at most. But no, it's a good game. I would say that one's probably due for a remake just for the sake of it needing kind of a touch up for the modern era. So
that is one of the few games that could do for a remake, or I guess a remaster rather.
I mean, anything is better. Just based on where they went with the series, anything is better than mouse-based sword combat, you know?
Yeah.
So that happened. What else? Fallout 4 is coming to the PS5 and Xbox Series in 2023, including performance and quality modes, bug fixes, and bonus Creation Club content. So, sure. Yeah, that makes sense, I suppose. Considering we're not going to get a Fallout game for a long while longer, may as well just bring 4 forward, I guess.
Yeah, that makes you know what I heard? I heard that Payday of all franchises is getting like number 3. That's
what do you mean?
Coming.
Oh, Payday 3?
They're making Payday 3, I guess. I just saw that.
Oh yeah, because how the story ended for Payday 2, they definitely have places to go with a third game. That series is insane. If you don't know the lore behind Payday 2, Payday 2's lore is not just you're robbing banks. There's like eldritch beings and shit. It's an eldritch game, essentially.
So, wow. So it's like
2 steps away from cosmic horror.
Yeah, Eldritch.
Yeah. Payday 2 is fucking phenomenal.
Wow.
It's just a pain in the ass to play through. Let's see what else. I talked about this on the good, the bad, and the vicious, but Overwatch's Diva shoots to the top of Pornhub searches. We've officially crossed the barrier of sanity where the top search is now a 3D Korean video game character. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. Let's see what else.
Peak degeneracy.
I mean, pretty much. Recently, there has been some controversy with the video game Bayonetta 3, namely that the former voice actress for the main character Bayonetta had came out and publicly said that Platinum Games and Hideki Kamiya were not willing to pay her for the main voice role of Bayonetta. They weren't willing to pay her enough, and that they gave her a very, very, very measly amount in offer for the role, in which case they went with Jennifer Hale. She had basically said it was unfair. It was them trying to price her out of the role so they could hire somebody else, which sparked a pretty big conversation in general about voice actor wages and things like that. But not all is as it seems, because while she was calling for the boycott of Bayonetta 3 and people were very eager to try and go give Hideki Kamiya shit, Jen Hale and Hideki Kamiya said that that's not the full story, that's not everything behind it, but they're under non-disclosure agreement, so they can't talk about it. Jason Schreier of Kotaku infamy has basically come forward and kind of set the record straight into the unclearedness of this whole case. So turns out that Bayonetta's voice actress, she claimed that she was offered just over $4,000 to work on the third game. Everything went viral and soaked debate over the conversation of voice actor wages. But what had happened is that they offered her between $3,000 and $4,000 per session for at least 5 voice acting sessions to come and voice the original version of Bayonetta, because the character in the third game is technically a new version, which is why there's a new voice for her. So it was sort of like a cameo role. Come back to voice the original Bayo and it'll be great and it'll be the whole celebration, right? She had made it seem as if that was what she was being offered for the main role. And this is all reported on by Bloomberg. It basically said that she had asked for a 6-figure fee and residuals for this 5-6 session side role voice acting bit. Which is obviously a very different statement overall. And as such, negotiations fell apart. Helena Taylor, the voice actress for Bayonetta, denies this account, saying that the version of events are an absolute lie and that Platinum is trying to save their game and their ass. Despite all of this, though, it has not hit things too much for Bayonetta 3. In Japan, the Famitsu scores have come out, and it is a 37 out of 40, which is practically a near perfect game. But it is, those Famitsu scores, so take them with a grain of salt. I have no disbelief that the game is not fucking fantastic as a video game, left, right, and center. But all of this was just kind of the problem when one voice actress caused a lot of hate and a lot of angry people who didn't even know the full story to go after a fellow voice actress and a company who had employed her and given her a very beloved part.
How much do voice actors generally make in video games compared to like other genres? I googled that a few weeks ago and I never got like a really straight answer on it.
The general thing is never enough, quite frankly. And video games are usually a little bit better than, say, the anime industry is, or even cartoons in some regards, because there's this weird stigma that voice acting is not the same as acting. To an extent, maybe, depending on how the project goes and things like that. But it's generally fucking peanuts in comparison, which is why you'll have anime adaptations of games that don't have the same. They'll have the same Japanese voice actors, but they won't have the same English voice actors, and that's generally because what they're willing to pay the voice actors for this beloved role is just, it's not enough. It's too much work for what they're making, and some do it for the love of the characters, others say fuck that. But generally it's I mean, it depends on the series and the company. It's a very big level of factors of how much somebody can get paid. Back in the day during the early PS1 days, it was very, very small amounts, depending on how many lines you did. I think the voice actress Thessaley Lerner, who voiced Lisa Garland in Silent Hill 1, she had maybe 40, 50, 60 lines of dialogue spoken, and she was paid $350, something like that, back in 1996, 1997.
Wow. Yeah,
it was side work.
Then.
Yeah, it was side work. When you're working in Japan and you speak English, you get those kinds of gigs. Now it's different. Now there's unionization and all this kind of shit.
Well, and also like voiceovers weren't all that common for the first few years of I guess modern gaming.
Oh yeah, even people that localized games from Japan, like Atlas and those, their budgets were not big, and a lot of that budget went to translating the game as it was. So voice acting tends to kind of hit this thing, and that's kind of why it was a cottage industry with only so many names for a long while. Is just because there wasn't a whole lot of money to go around. But it is sad to see this when you see someone kind of who is loved for a character just turn out to be a complete piece of shit. But it's also something we're seeing a lot more common with video game and anime voice actors, where turns out a lot of these people that do these voices for these characters we love are just complete assholes.
So in other words, they're just like regular actors, then, basically.
Yeah, I suppose so. And the last thing
I mean that's why I look at it. So
yeah,
go ahead.
I mean, well, I guess it's kind of that thing you hope a little more, just because you get the detachment from the face of the person from the character, so you're able to detach that a little more. So It's kind of surprising, when you have a character who, let's say, somebody played a very sweet girl who was a teenage girl, a very thoughtful character, very beloved character, just a kind, gentle soul, and then turns out that her voice actress is just a complete leftist, feminazi kind of bitch who makes fun of anybody that likes her if they're even leaned one side of the political spectrum.
That sounds like you're referencing someone in particular. Allie.
I am 100%, but I'm not going to get into it. That personal thing of, fuck, now I don't like this character's voice anymore. Fuck. So, let's move on to the last one. I don't think I covered last week G4, did I? I think it was only
finally
on
going
the Good, Bad,
out
Vicious.
of business.
Yeah, I think we only did that on the Vicious one, right?
No, we didn't cover it here, but no.
Okay, so
who could have seen that coming?
Comcast pulls the plug on G4 TV, ending the comeback try for the gamer-focused network, to no one's fucking surprise. Who would be shocked, honestly, that a gamer-focused network brought back from the dead by Olivia Munn's pussy would eventually fall, collapse, and burn, reminding us of why we can't have good things? I'm not surprised. There was a reason I never really liked Attack of the Show. And part of it was Olivia fucking Munn. But here we are. G4 has died once again, thanks to multiple blunders, multiple people, and ineptitude, incompetence. I don't even know what else caused the death of G4. The times.
Well, a lack of Sarah Jean Underwood too. Shout out to Evil Eric in the chat.
Yeah, so, a lack of Morgan Webb, a lack of original X-Play, a lack of cable television. Fuck. It's.
Yeah, part of me has to wonder. Obviously, the whole Frost thing didn't help, but part of me has to wonder because, if like GQ would have still been relevant had it done everything right, partially because back when G4 was a thing, when we were younger, YouTube wasn't a thing yet. It wasn't like it is now, and so
hell, even the internet, having a computer and the internet wasn't a guarantee back in 2003, 2004. It was still kind of the invasion of the home PC during that time.
Right. So, now all of the gaming, commentary that's done by, that would have been done by, commentators on G4 is done by, YouTubers, basically. Some good, some bad, but there's more variety here on YouTube than there would have been on, G4, I guess. So
yeah, and the thing is like it really was one of your only ways to get the content fast, but also have it in video format. We had game magazines, and you could read articles on websites nonstop, but having the video content, the production level was really that early level, that next kind of evolutionary step of what would eventually become the internet's entire fucking landscape. Video game reviews are among some of the most watched content ever, right? Top 10 lists are some of the most watched things ever. You could say documentaries in general, but just even stuff about games, just how much games have now saturated our culture and what we consume within our media of that. A lot of it was done by early tech TV, ZDTV, and G4 TV stuff. I mean, talk shows about what's going on the net and wacky wild stuff. You see that kind of thing everywhere on YouTube now. And it's just, it was burgeoning. There was nothing else like. I mean, God, look at the Asian dude that thought he could be immortal by making the rings, Alex Chu, right? Before Wang talked about him, he was on Unscrewed with Martin Sargent. Like we're just seeing kind of the full evolution, and in some cases, more talented people doing the things that they all started. Because I never fucking thought Martin Sargent was funny, and if you did, fuck me. What's wrong with you? What is that dude had no comedic timing, no fucking personality or charisma other than being smarmy. Holy fuck. But yeah, G4 has died, and I think the interesting thing is that a lot of people didn't know that they no longer had a job until that tweet was made, because Gerard the Completionist quote retweeted the announcement of the closure, and he goes, "Oh, that's cool. I guess this is how I'm told that I'm fired."
Wow.
Which is, yeah.
I mean that is kind of shitty.
I mean, it's incredibly shitty, and it happens more than you think, really.
Oh yeah.
Which is just nuts, but that then it does also, in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, I have found out about family members' divorces via Facebook posts, over the last few years. So, I mean, which is also shitty, but I mean, I guess it's more commonplace now to do that type of shit. So.
When you're a company and that's your employer, no, fuck off. I'm not going to let that one slide, Sammy. Come on. If you're employed by somebody, they have a duty to let you know that you've been let off before they make a general public announcement.
No. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you on that. Completely.
I thought your excuse is.
What I'm saying is it is fucked up, but so is finding out about family members, close family members, divorces via Facebook as opposed to phone calls and shit. So, or telling the person it's a weird world we live in now.
I mean, it is. They brought G4 back from the fucking dead. Do you want to know what the memo had said?
Well, yeah, I'm curious.
So the memo goes, team. As you know, G4 was reintroduced last year to tap into the popularity of gaming. We invested to create the new G4 as an online and TV destination for fans to be entertained, be inspired, and connect with gaming content. Over the past several months, we worked hard to generate that interest in G4, but viewership is low and the network has not achieved sustainable financial results. This is certainly not what we had hoped for, and as a result, we have made the very difficult decision to discontinue G4's operations effective immediately. I know this is disappointing news, and I'm disappointed too. I want to thank you and everyone on the G4 team for all the hard work and commitment to the network. Our human resources team is reaching out to you to provide you with support, discuss other opportunities that may be available, and answer any questions you may have. Thank you again for all of your hard work at G4. Sincerely, Dave Scott, Chairman and CEO of Comcast Spectator. Or Spectacor, sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
So my question, because like I'm not, let me just put it like I said at the beginning, I'm not surprised that this failed. What I want to know is, what was the pitch meeting to bring this back? That's something that I would like to see.
It was like Olivia Munn giving up her pussy to the son of an executive at Comcast, and the son telling him, "No, Dad, you don't get it. This is the big shit. This can be the next big thing." That's literally what happened. G4's revival was caused by Olivia Munn's pussy.
I mean, wow. I mean, I can't really think of anything else to say, but wow.
I wish I could pull it up, but Kiwi Farms is fucking down because they're the ones that archived all this bullshit. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I part of me is like, wow, I'm surprised, but then another part of me is like, wow, I'm totally not surprised.
Yep, and then she, I think she broke up with the guy or whatever. They separated, and that's why she wasn't on G4 anymore. Even though she was there for the beginning of trying to bring it back and everything.
What? Well, I know that she was bitching at like toxic masculinity and and slave labor, and Carrie Fisher herself had to go chew her ass out a few years ago. So,
I mean, it's fucking Olivia Munn. That should tell you enough as it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then those who I guess were at the top to be able to handle the project wanted to make it hip with the kids, so they got all the hip people like Frost and the black man who is very sexist and the completionist, and I don't even remember who else because who fucking cares?
Yeah, I mean they didn't bring back anyone recognizable, and I mean,
no one fun recognizable. Sessler was there, but Sessler's become such a fucking leftist cuck. Who fucking cares? That dude went so far off the deep blue, like he's in the fucking depths of the ocean.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, Sessler was the one clapping during Frost's whole "We are not here for you to jack off to." You go, Frost. Just clapping like a
Sessler's the same dude that got used by Zoe Quinn almost to the point that he would have fucking killed himself with drugs if Morgan hadn't stepped in. That's the thing people don't like to remember or talk about. Yeah. No. Sessler fell in real hard with the Zoe Quinn crowd trying to stay hip and relevant, and that shit pushed him to a very dark fucking place that Morgan had to get his ass out of, and that's why Morgan Webb has never said anything good or really at all about Zoe Quinn.
Well, I mean, it's Zoe Quinn. What is there to...
Oh, God, yeah, tell that to Sessler, though. He'll fucking call her a goddamn champion of the people, I'm sure.
Well, yeah. Well, that's poor bastard. That's all.
He wanted to stay relevant. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sessler always kind of had that fucking energy about him, but it's Hollywood. They moved to LA once G4 bought Tech TV, and LA, it's like Night City. It'll fucking the whole city will chew you up and spit you out if you're not careful, without a second fucking thought. And that's exactly what happened to Sessler.
Well,
Webb got lucky.
I feel
Webb married some author and doesn't have to work a day in her fucking life if she doesn't want to. But Sessler, he didn't get that lucky.
Yeah, no. I mean, the gaming industry as a whole is kind of, it's fucked. I hate to say it, but
it's very different from where it was, and I would have rather the effort just been re-release every G4 TV show and Tech TV show and charge for it. I would have much rather that been a thing. I would much rather watch the old content in its perfect preserved glory than have to sit through some angry fucking feminist interrupting a conversation about how Red Dead Online is not cared for by the developers and it's leaving a lot of people high and dry without giving them anything for the service. You know, a very real gaming topic, but no, we got to talk about how, you know, you need to stop objectifying women, or, you know, they're not just hired because they're hot or this, that, the other. And if this bitch knew her history, even in the slightest, even the most minuscule amount of research into the history of that show of X-Play or of anything related to G4, Tech TV, or ZDTV, she would know that most of those chicks were hired because of their fucking tits. They just got lucky that a handful of those chicks, like Catherine Schwartz and Morgan Webb, actually had good, well-rounded personalities and work ethics.
Yeah. Well, most of those are like gamer girls actually did because they had to prove themselves.
Well, no, it's just they were nerdy enough to be working at that TV station already because they were interested in tech.
That too.
And then they just picked the ones with the biggest breasts out of the group from the background. They got lucky because, well, I mean, it was also San Francisco at the turn of the millennium. So, you know, any actual nerd chicks are probably in the Bay Area.
Well, that too.
Due to the whole .com bubble and all the startup companies out there and shit. But that's old history. That's really old history. But yeah, G4 is dead.
Yeah.
May it rest in peace and never raise again.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all the news I got.
The only, I guess, gaming news I have sort of related is November is almost here, so that means that we're going to get what I'm hoping is not a god-awful adaptation of The Last of Us, but what I'm just assuming will be a god-awful adaptation of The Last of Us. And listen, I can look past, even though he's a fucking piece of shit, like as far as personality goes, but Pedro Pascal is a good actor, so I can look past a lot of stuff, but I just when I think of Joel, I do not see. I see Chris Pratt more as like being.
No, quit hiring Chris Pratt. He's going to be the worst Mario ever. Quit hiring Chris Pratt, for fuck's sake. God damn it.
Oh, who? Huh? Who are you going to recommend?
Oh, dear. I think, Sammy, either you're lagging out or I'm lagging out. I'm not sure. Something?
I was going to ask who would you recommend?
For Joel? Fuck, just any dude off the street who's in his fucking mid-40s with the beard and looks like he knows how to work a fucking woodworking bench, man. It ain't hard. It really ain't. Just don't pick Chris Pratt or a Mexican. Joel is the traditional Caucasian dad style character that everybody fucking hates. Just cast that. It's really not fucking hard. I don't know actors. I can't imagine it's that fucking hard.
Well, yeah, well, there you go.
Fucking Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito is Joel for Last of Us. That's what I want.
Well, I was gonna say we could cast Matthew Vickers as Joel at that point, but
oh Lord,
that might actually be bad because, Vickers isn't a depressed asshole like Joel is.
Exactly. Yeah, he's pretty jovial.
So very, very jovial. That was fun talking horror movies, even though you and I didn't talk that much during that episode. But hey,
you had more to say than I did. I'll say that.
I kept trying to get Silence of the Lambs references in there, and meanwhile, Power Within and Vickers were talking about sports and football championships, which is kind of out of my wheelhouse.
That was all Power Within. That wasn't Vickers and Power. That was all Power.
Yeah. So, but anyway, well, I can't really think of anything else except for I did see that Kill Pedos put out a new video, but then when I watched it, it seemed like a retread of the one he made on Alice a few months ago.
Yeah, I think it was a reimagining. I think he shortened it and kind of retweaked some scenes. It was good.
Yeah, it was good, but no Ralph November's coming up, so thank God
fucking
for that.
Easy,
yeah, fair, very easy. But anyway, well, yeah, I think that'll do it. So, any final thoughts for the week?
Burn Corpo shit. That's it.
Burn Corpo shit. Be sure to vote in your elections. Primaries are coming up in November. Make sure if you do mail-in ballots, actually take them to your, precincts. Folks, don't depend on the post office because, listen, I'm not saying that the post office, tampered with ballots in the last election. I'm not saying that at all, Susan Wojcicki. I'm just saying, mail tends to get lost between the seats on occasion. So, you might want to make sure those ballots are delivered yourself. And other than that, just, everyone have a good week. And thanks for tuning in.
Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to The Whitfield Report on the NGC Network. Please visit Sam's website at www.thesamwhitfield.com and support Sam on Patreon at patreon.com/Whitfield Report. Until next time, God bless. God save this great nation, and God, freedom, legacy, in that order.